I'm curious about what your deliverables are for a six-figure client.
Oh my gosh. Actually, I have my whiteboard over here and we mapped it all out. So, usually, what it looks like for me is we do some preliminary work with a client, and it's usually the principals at a company, but I do wind up working with their entire staff in some way, shape, or form, where we go through a series of interviews and I determine where they are in their seven C's. So, a company can be one of seven places. They can be starting, soaring, stalling, sinking, shifting, selling, or sailing. Sailing is where you want to wind up, right? And depending on where they are is depending on where they need to go, because you can't get there from here if you don't have a map. So we usually work with them very intensively in the first 90 days. And that also includes me going on site, usually to someplace cold in the middle of the winter. I'm just saying, somebody should send me to, like, I don't know, the islands. Somebody send me to Australia. And that would be great. I'm usually going
Right,
up north in the winter.
right, right.
We do a really intensive on site for a week. And then we have fallout from that, like, things that we need to fix. And then I work with them on a retainer basis, on a monthly basis, some checkpoints, so that we can make sure that they're staying on path of where they need to go. Because a lot of times when you work with companies and owners of companies and you help solve problems and you get some fixes implemented, if they don't keep on it, they're going to start drifting. And what all the hard work they did in quarter one is going to go right down the toilet in quarter four, because they can't stay on track. And it's not their primary focus, right? Their focus is running the business. They're hiring me to help course correct their business. So that's why
I see.
I like to come in and kind of do that. I do have clients that we will work just on a 3-month intensive, and then they're kind of out on their own after. But the idea of the online community and the online coursework for this is that you're not necessarily paying those high prices, but you're getting a lot of the benefits of that and the ongoing
Okay.
support going forward.
I want to talk about pricing and mindset for a second. I assume that you always, like, you weren't always charging 100K. What was the mindset jump from what you were charging to what you're charging now? Because a
It
lot
was
of
the
people
hardest
don't.
thing. It was the hardest thing.
Yeah,
I never wanted to do it, honestly. I was like, I just want to help people. But then when I realized it's actually costing me more money to work with a
yeah.
client than what they're paying me, I was like, wait, I have to
But
adjust
like, but
this.
like, what is that though? That thing that says, I don't want to do this, even though you know that you're capable beyond
Yeah, because
imposter
imposter
syndrome.
syndrome's, it's real.
Right.
So I had to be real with myself. And I'll be honest, there were a couple points in my career of doing this that I was like, I don't think I could take another client right now. So my answer, and I don't want to say no to people, right? So my answer was just to increase my prices. Well, when they see my prices are increased, they're going to be like, no, I don't want. And they still said yes. And I was like, shoot, I have to deal with
Isn't
this,
that
right?
interesting?
It's
Like,
the weirdest thing, right? And we have this conversation at the software company that if you charge very little for something, the I feel like the entitlement of what you get for that is, help me with everything of all things in eternity. But if you, like with my higher price clients, they're like, I have one specific issue that I need assistance with, and if I could fix that one specific issue, I know it's the leverage to help other things. But when I'm charging $5 for something, it's like, come in and run my company for me, sort of thing. So I kind of set thresholds for myself to keep myself accountable. And it kind of varied through the years. First, I would say, okay, after 5 clients at this price, I will raise my prices. Or I would say, after the first of every year, I will raise my prices, or whatever. So I kind of gave myself those guidelines to say, well, I told myself client number 6 was going to have to pay more, or whatever the deal was. But my favorite number is also 0. So I like to put zeros on the end of things. So
right, right.
that's my
Yeah,
favorite number, is
and
0.
I find when you level up price wise, like you attract just a different
Yeah.
caliber of like
Yeah.
client. I learned that early on.